Hey, what's up, you guys? So for today's 10-a-day, we're going to be doing boxing, right? So we're just going to be practicing our 1 and our 2, right? It's like this whole week is just doing 1s and 2s. All right, so our 1 is called a jab. Our 2 is called a cross, right? A jab is always going to be with the lead side, right? So if I'm standing in a left lead, then the left hand is my jab. If I was to switch my feet like this, right now my right foot's in front, my right hand would then become my jab hand and my left hand would become my cross hand. So let's go over some of the mechanics first. First thing is really our stance, right? So we're gonna be in a more squared stance. We're gonna have our shoulders squared forward and our hips are pretty squared forward. If you look at my feet, you can see both of them, right? Now see how now my feet are hiding, or my back foot's hiding behind my front foot? I don't want that. If you were to look at me like this, you should see that my feet are about shoulder width apart, and that's how we want it, right? Sometimes I'll even go a little bit wider if I'm only doing boxing, where I'm only doing hands. If I'm doing kickboxing, I'm gonna be a little bit closer so I can throw some kicks, right? Hands are up and they're gonna be moving, but I like to think of them always right around my cheekbones. Some people like it way up here. Some people are just down here. I like to come up here, and then they kind of get tired and they're gonna go around here, all right? So just be aware, this is gonna be your stance. You're gonna be kind of moving a little bit, but not too much. But I also don't want completely still. All right, so now our jab is going to be turning our hip, right? I'm gonna be pushing my hip forward as I point my shoulder towards the front and I extend out. Now I want you to watch my elbow. Notice how my elbow stays pointed down all the way until the very end. I'm not raising the elbow up and then doing a hammer fist, right? So this is a common thing that new people do, is they raise the elbow and then do that. Elbow stays pointed down to the sky, down to the ground, and then I rotate it at the very end, right? So keep that in mind as well. We're also gonna be punching with these first 2 knuckles. Make sure that you align your knuckles with your wrist. So you have to do a little bit of a push downwards so that these align, right? If we're here, chances are you're gonna be hitting with those. All right, so jab, turn the hip, pop the shoulder forward, punch, bring it back. Make sure your other hand stays at your face, just like this. All right. Now for our cross, we're going to do the same thing. I'm pointing my back hip towards the front as I point my back shoulder towards the front and punch out. Notice on this one, I'm going to be raising my heel because I'm pressing with my leg. The power from punches comes from the legs, right? I'm doing a triple extension. I'm extending at my hip, right? Boom. I'm extending at my knee, and I'm extending at my ankle to raise it up to be able to throw that cross, all right? So other hand, same thing, at the face as well, just like this. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 1 minute of just jabs. Pick a side. I'm gonna do left lead. All right, ready, begin. And just focus on your technique, right? You don't have to go super fast, but I want the shoulder to turn and I want the hip to turn each time, right? So you can see my feet. Some of the time that heel raises up just a little bit, some of the time it doesn't. That's fine, as long as we get that hip and that shoulder pop. Make sure that elbow stays down low, just like this. All right, I'm kind of crouching almost and then unloading, right? If I'm straight with my legs, I have nothing, I have no power. I have to be cocked and ready so that I can throw that out. If I'm not bent here, I can't straighten here, which means I can't get any power from it. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing this. Turn the hips, other hand is right back at your face. Elbow is down until the very last second. Don't raise it up too early. Keep it going, all right? I'm not going hard. I am going a little bit fast right now, but I'm just trying to flow through this motion, right? And time. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna switch our lead. So now I'm gonna have my right leg in front, and we're gonna do this exact same thing, just throwing that jab. Ready, set, go. Right hand, jab, boom. Pop that hip, point that shoulder towards the front. If you were to drop that arm down, your shoulder should end towards the front. Hands are nice and relaxed, but they are making a fist. A lot of time you can see just a little bit of a hole right through your hands, and that's how you know that they're relaxed. I don't want them tight and tense. We only tense up at the very last second, right as we make contact. Keep this going. Elbow stays down until the last second. Keep it going. Turn those hips. Hips go back to squared, hips point forward. Back to squared, hips point forward. Boom. Now, I also see this a lot, right? Where people stick the butt off to the side. You twist. We don't push the hips out, right? So the hips don't go out, they just twist in place. Imagine you've got a pole going through your head and right down through your center line, and you're twisting on the pole, but we don't tilt the axis of that pole. And time. All right, let's go ahead and let's go back to our left lead, all right? So now we're gonna throw our cross, all right? That's all we're doing. We're just throwing our cross. So it should be your right hand. Make sure that you're pressing off that back leg. Don't just raise up the heel, right? This does nothing for you. Press off of the ground, right? Feel yourself pushing off of the ground. 1 minute, ready, begin. Press off each time. Don't have to be powerful. Point that shoulder all the way to the front. Shoulder and hip pointed towards the front each time. Left hand touches your cheekbone. Every time you fully extend out, I want those knocking knuckles touch your cheekbone. Every single time, touch your cheekbone. It can come off your face as you retract, but as you punch, touch that cheekbone. You can even touch your eyebrow, right? That's an even safer position. So if you want to touch your eyebrow or forehead or cheekbone, any of those, but I want you making contact, those knocking knuckles on your face somewhere, above the jaw. Don't go too low. Keep it going. Turn those hips. Turn those hips. Elbow stays down until the last second. Make sure you're punching with the correct part of the hand. Keep it going. Don't have to go too hard or too fast. Just nice and fluid. I press off every time. All right, and now we're gonna do the exact same thing. Other side. Right leg is in front. You're gonna be doing a cross with your left now. And begin. Press off. Press off the ground each time. That heel should be raising up. Make sure you're punching to your own head height at your face. Not gonna punch any little kids, hopefully. Keep going. Point that shoulder all the way to the front. Every time. Press off of the ground. Rotate the fist at the last second. We have that rotation. We corkscrew and drive it in as we're making contact. Other hand, knocking knuckles. Cheekbone, forehead, eyebrow, whatever. Touch the face every single time. And don't get stung by the wasp. I see you, wasp. I see you. I'm gonna punch you out of there if you get too close to me. No, I'm not. I'm gonna run. And time. All right, so now we're gonna go jab. All right, hips turn, cross, hips turn. 1, 2, 1, 2. When one of these punches goes out, the other one, I'm touching my cheekbone or my eyebrow. All right. Now, before we continue, relax your shoulders. Bring them down. Hands up, shoulders down. Ready? 1 minute. Left lead. Jab, cross. Keep it going. Keep going, keep going. Point that shoulder towards the front. Point that shoulder towards the front each time. Point your shoulder towards the front. Press off that back leg. Make sure your back heel should be your right heel right now. It's coming off the ground because you're pressing off the ground. Feel that extension from the legs each time you do this. Front hand, front leg extends. Backhand, backhand leg extends. If you want, you can slow it down. You can kind of crouch down and then come up. Crouch down and then come up. Keep that motion going. And time. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing on our other side. All right, right hand is now in front. Jab, cross, jab, cross. Now, before we go on, I'm gonna show you one more thing. I watched somebody do this before, and I thought it was pretty cool. Right? So as they went from one way, the head kind of bobs down and makes this V, or a U is more smooth, all right? So think about it that way. And that's my legs getting ready again, right? Legs are getting cocked and ready, and I'm extending out. The legs are getting cocked and ready and extending out. And from the front, it just makes my head look like this. Now, if that's too advanced, just focus on twisting around that pole. All right, ready, begin. All right. If you want, you can go and do that. Or you can just twist. The things I want you to really focus the most on here is the fact that your hands come back to your face. If it's not punching, it's at your face, and that your hips twist every single time. Hips twist every single time. None of this stuff. That's garbage, right? Hips twist every time. Ooh, there's the wasp. You might have saw him. Keep it going. Press off, press off. Every time. Relax those shoulders down, right? You can have your hands up and your shoulders down. It's possible. Trust me, it is. Might not feel like it at first, but it's possible. Turn every time. Rotate that fist at the last time. Take a breath in and out. All right, guys, so I went a little bit over 10 minutes today. Hopefully you got the jab and the cross down. We're gonna start building on these things. We're starting off with our foundation, build it up, and then we're gonna get into more advanced stuff later. All right, if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, comment. If you didn't enjoy it, well, I don't care, go away. Okay, bye.